Shibuya. Is this Japanese inspired? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that one's got a lot more elements going on for sure. I'd say the reason why I say the flute could maybe hold off there is because I feel like it's a good element that adds taste, but even there you're kind of still in the build up. And I think by putting the flute in that early, you're actually kind of taking away of the effect of what it could be a little bit later. And like that's really nice. And I think what could be cool there is if you take out the low end, at least like right here. And then like that low end drops back in kind of like after those last couple drum notes, because, you know, it's also that contrast, that push and pull of like frequencies. Like frequency content is your best friend in producing, mixing, mastering. Like if you are to take a section of a song and just kind of take the low end out of it, well, as soon as you reintroduce that low end, it's like an entirely new context of sound. And like that's what also part of what you're trying to play with. And so if you take that out, and then it'll make that like low end kind of drop in much heavier, which is nice. And I don't think it's a bad thing to have it, but you could even take out a little bit of that low information, so that way when it does drop in at around the 28-29 second mark, then you're actually getting even more of it. Because like, yeah, you can have that low going on here, but that full contrast, if you kind of see like the 0 to 28-29 second mark, is like kind of like, if this is like your low end, like you're kind of like 50 hertz ish below, and like that's gone, and then you hit the 28 second mark, and then all of a sudden you have that contrast where this is missing that, but then this has it. And so you have kind of a limited spectrum here, but then a more full spectrum throughout here. And that kind of helps play with the ears, play with the contrast, and also adds to the effect of what you're trying to do when you drop in that low end. If you kind of think of it in like a, you know, headphone settings, dance setting, like when you get that full frequency information in a room, like that's, you know, I've listened to some DJ sets, and a lot of, aside from like generally being a good DJ, what can distinguish a good DJ from a great DJ is their ability to kind of listen to the room. And if you're in a room with a DJ that's trying to get you to dance, but there's no high information and there's not great low information happening, then it's tough to move because you don't really get the trigger in your ears of like the hi-hats. You don't get the trigger of the 808 or the kick. And like you want that whole experience to kind of round out everything that is the dance floor or whatever you're aiming for. And messing around with frequency content is a mixer's best friend.